Okay, so the frame finished. When we were doing the log def, I kind of forgot that I didn't have it set to the environment, but that's correct now. So we look at the output. You see there's a terrain and there's our cryptomat. So the thing with these cryptomats is kind of you can set it up as well by like they get into the same folder and then they make a .exr.cryptomat. You can make a custom file prefix here. What I generally do is I just rename the cryptomat myself afterwards. But you could put your own custom path in here, like $job/render/ whatever terrain $AOV.exr. So then it would, with the $AOV would be replaced by cryptomat. So that could also work. I'm just gonna I just rendered it like that and I renamed it, but you can set it up any way you want. Right, so let's do the pyro. So we have our pyro there. Let's select it. Pyro, that's correct. Let's go to render view and let's just select our pyro. See what it looks like. Sometimes it just gives this error, even though it's still loading correctly. It's weird, but it just happens sometimes for some reason. Okay, so there's quite a lot we kind of need to do here. So we don't want to render the pyro with the environment. We want to render that with the main take because you can see it's much too bright. Let's reload. So we need to do a lot of sample stuff. Okay, so probably need to tweak maybe our materials as well. Let's just try with every light. Let's see what that does, because we just did these with the look def. Let's just load in all our lights. Render again. So maybe let's go into our key light and crank up our volume contribution a little bit. Let's turn off bucket rendering. Should get a little bit more of that. Let's increase it on the very good. Let's try what happens if we put the rocks in the mat, because let's see if that actually makes much of a difference. Let's put the rock explode, scattered rocks, and terrain. See if that makes a difference in the GI. Doesn't really make much of a difference in this case. Okay, I'm going to tweak my material a little bit maybe. Let's go into our material. And again, because the other one was set up with just the intensity overwritten, we can just go in here and just tweak this however we want. Okay, so I'm going to say, so that's why it's nice, because in the other take, it will still be a lot higher. So maybe I'm not that happy with the way VOP interacts with it. Okay, something like that. Let's just keep tweaking our stuff a little bit. Again, this is really a balancing act, and you really just need to just take your time and do this yourself and just try to get a a nice result. Just I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Just want something that will be sort of okay for testing here. Oh, okay. Are we still? Okay, let's just reload. For some reason, it's showing us an old thing. Okay, so let's have a look in our at our original pyro. Where is it? Probably want more scattering. Again, it just takes a lot of time to sort of balance this the way you like it. Just gonna keep tweaking it a little bit and then but I mean this is a very low resolution sim, like I mentioned, so we're not gonna get it perfect, but okay, let's just say something like this. Let's do bucket render. Okay, now we need to see, okay, what do we need to tweak? Well, we need to set up our AOVs for this, right? Because this needs different AOVs. Let's make the AOV. So we color code those, so they're sort of the same. All right, let's turn this off and let's add some AOVs. I want 3 AOVs. So there's volume AOVs here. So I want volume lighting, volume emission, and volume lighting, and this one. Okay, let's drag those into, and actually for just changing samples, there's not that much that you can tweak there, but it's just, we need those anyway for our composite. So you can see volume, emission, fog. So volume itself is essentially sort of similar to the beauty. Okay, so we need to tweak some samples. Oh, and what we need to do is also we need to go on the pyro on the volume tab, and we want to use velocity grids for motion blur. So then we can get some motion blur on our volume as well, because we really need that later. Okay, so some tweaks that we need to do. We need to go into, and actually there's not really any, there's no multi-scatter in volumes, and as long as you have one GI bounce, it should be enough. There's not going to be any differences. Probably want to turn the GI samples up a little bit. I'm not sure how much difference that actually makes in this case, but probably let's just do a snapshot. Let's do one lower again. Let's just see what it looks like. So it does clean it up quite a bit. Let's try 128. And the other main thing that we need to go is settings, sampling overrides, and there's volume overrides here. Let's try 256. $12. Probably 128 is enough. Let's increase the GI samples. Okay, so something like that is good. Now let's input some matte parameters. So we already have this matte thing, right? So let's drag that into the matte. Oh, we cannot do that. We first need to do force matte from terrain and rock explode. And let's do debris as well. And RDR, so scattered rocks, are those the, yeah, so, and then mat parameters from this null. Again, this null is very nice because then you don't have to manually do it. You could also do that and use takes, but it just makes a lot more sense to do it for this one. It's going to take a little bit more time. Now you can see we get those pieces are being used as a mat. Let's see if it makes a difference now if we also include them in the phantom. Maybe there's going to be some light bounces in there. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but you can just try it out, see what it does. So I guess it doesn't like it if it's both in the mat and the phantom. So let's just only keep them as a mat. But looks pretty good. So I think everything is set up correctly here. We could maybe, let's try, I think maybe doing both brute force will work better in our volume guys, but let's see. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, let's just keep it like this. Let's just do render a frame, and then we continue with some of the other elements. So just go to, let's go to here. Let's render the disk. So looks good. So yeah, I mean, it looks different, of course, than my thing here. But again, this is also super low resolution pyro. But again, keep just like tweak the material, tweak the lights, do it on your high resolution. See how it ends up. I only ended up using apparently the rigids for the mat. I didn't even end up using the debris, but yeah, I mean, looks fine. Let's do the next elements.